Hello, I'm Alan. Do you know what the saddest sound is on a chilly, quiet morning? It's not the rustle of an autumn leaf falling on the porch, but the sigh of a woman looking down at the bathroom drain. A few weeks ago, my 54-year-old neighbor Susan choked up as she recounted that moment. While busily baking pecan pies to welcome her children and grandchildren for Thanksgiving, Susan realized she had spent hours in front of the mirror, futilely spraying her hair to add volume just to cover the increasingly visible scalp. Holding a cup of coffee in her hand in my backyard, she quietly cried, feeling like her femininity and youthful charm were slipping away down the drain. That emptiness is something very ordinary, and you are absolutely not alone. A small note, if hair loss persists, please consult a doctor. But why has the once bouncy hair from your 20s become so thin now? Let's brew a warm cup of tea and sit down to watch this entire conversation with me. Because the real secret isn't in the expensive shampoo bottle you just bought at Costco, but hidden deep within each follicle. And the good news is we have ways to call back the vitality of your hair. Has the brilliant sunlight ever inadvertently brought you a pang of sadness? That beautiful light sometimes cruelly highlights the changes on the top of our heads that we always want to hide. I remember Martha, 58, a warm woman with a radiant smile. A few days ago, after parking her SUV in the Walmart lot, she pulled down the sun visor to check the mirror. The moment the harsh sunlight hit the rearview mirror, it clearly revealed her widening part line. The emptiness hit her, and Martha immediately grabbed her familiar baseball cap to cover that insecurity. Even during midday pushes of the shopping cart down the supermarket aisles, she always tried to avoid areas with glaring fluorescent lights beaming straight down from the ceiling. Have you ever felt like hiding your hair just like Martha? Many of us women mistakenly think that hair loss or thinning at the crown is just a men's issue, but the truth is, women's bodies always have a small amount of male hormones. As we pass 50, hormonal balance changes, and a natural enzyme in the body converts this hormone into a substance called DHT. Imagine DHT like an invisible thief. It quietly clings to the follicles on the scalp, gradually shrinking them over time. The follicles become increasingly fragile and weak, until new strands grow only as thin threads, not strong enough to grow long or cover the scalp. This process happens very slowly and gently, without any pain, so we often only notice when the hair on the crown has thinned significantly. Is this hormonal change the only reason for thinning hair, or is there another unexpected cause from within the body holding us back? The good news is, once we understand this natural mechanism, you have full hope to start protecting and nurturing those tiny follicles again. Before we explore the next piece, take a second to hit the subscribe button below to always join me on this journey of self-love. Martha's story is a slow, gradual journey of hair loss. But what happens if your hair doesn't thin over the years, but suddenly falls out in clumps, sticking all over your clothes after just a few short weeks? Welcome to the strike of the follicles. That's the story of gradual thinning. But what happens if your hair suddenly falls out in large amounts after just a few weeks? Family gatherings, beautiful greeting cards, and happy tears on your daughter's wedding day. But behind that radiant smile sometimes lies the exhaustion your body is quietly enduring. I remember Linda, 52. After single-handedly organizing her daughter's entire autumn wedding and going through a severe flu, she was shocked to find hair clinging all over her favorite cashmere sweater. Every time she ran her hand through her hair, her chest tightened with anxiety. Do you remember last winter's bad illness, or that harsh diet to fit into a party dress? When the body experiences a major physical or emotional shock, your hair also gets exhausted and asks for time off. Science calls this stress-induced hair loss. Our bodies prioritize energy for survival, so during a crisis, it can force up to 70% of healthy growing strands to shift immediately to the resting phase. It's only a few months after that stressful event that you start seeing massive shedding. But you know, this strike brings immense hope. This phenomenon is mostly temporary. Your follicles haven't disappeared. They're just taking a short nap and can fully regrow bouncy when your body is cared for and recovered. Stress fades, and your beloved strands will gradually return. But what happens if your body is having a silent resistance from within, hindering the hair growth process? The culprit sometimes cleverly hides in our very sweetest morning habits. Stress will pass, and your thin hair will gradually regrow. But sometimes the cause of hair loss hides in the sweetest habits every morning. The fragrant aroma of freshly ground coffee mixed with the buttery scent of a blueberry muffin is truly hard to resist on a chilly autumn morning, isn't it? My 60-year-old friend Barbara is the same. She always starts her day at the familiar suburban cafe to chat with her book club. Recently, Barbara confided that she often feels tired, her waist fat keeps increasing despite dieting, And saddest of all, her hair is thinning to reveal the scalp. She looked heartbroken in the mirror, feeling like she was aging too fast. You know, our bodies are a wonderful interconnected system. There's an unexpected link between a growing waistline and gradually thinning hair. Insulin resistance. When eating a lot of sweets, blood insulin levels rise, inadvertently stimulating the body to produce too much male hormone androgen. And as we've discussed, excess androgens are the silent culprit shrinking follicles. Blood sugar doesn't just affect your figure, it's also the root cause making our scalps angry. Are you facing thinning hair issues like my friend Barbara? Don't worry, because by proactively balancing your blood sugar and making small changes to your daily menu, the follicles will be soothed and your hair's biological rhythm will recover miraculously. Note, if the condition persists, please consult a doctor. Once the inside of the body is nourished and soothed, let's step together to the outermost protective layer. Have you ever wondered if your scalp has its own incredibly unique ecosystem, and an invisible battle is happening right on it? Let's explore. Balancing blood sugar is like watering the roots with cool water. But did you know our scalps possess an incredibly complex ecosystem? Itchiness, a restless, prickling sensation creeping under each hair root that sometimes makes it hard to focus on anything, whether it's listening to soothing music or quietly reading a book. Last Sunday, Carol, my 55-year-old neighbor, sat in the front row at church, wearing an elegant black sweater, but she had to discreetly brush off the white dandruff flakes on her shoulder. Holding a warm cup of tea on the porch, Carol sighed that she felt incredibly embarrassed, always afraid others would think she was unclean. She limits going to the supermarket, even avoiding hugging her grandchildren on weekends. It's so unfair, right? Seborrheic dermatitis or dandruff isn't due to lazy shampooing. The scalp always has a natural microbiome with a yeast fungus called Malassezia. Due to weather changes, it can overgrow, causing a low-grade inflammatory reaction. These small storms inflame the follicles, exhausting them, accelerating shrinkage, and making hair prone to falling. Especially on cold winter days in America, when you often wear dark wool clothes, this worry deepens. Have you ever felt your hair thinner after prolonged itchiness? Don't be sad just yet. Soothing this ecosystem is something we can do right at home with safe, suitable products. If this helped, comment, "I'm ready for healthier hair," to spread more hope together. Once the scalp surface is comforted, the itch vanishes and hair will have peaceful soil to recover. If you want more, hit like for motivation. But that soil always needs nutrient streams flowing beneath. What happens when the treasure depletes? Let's explore together. Soothing the prickling itch on the scalp surface is just the first step. To rebuild strong hair, we need to reclaim the missing building blocks deep inside. Winter brings beautiful white snowflakes to the front porch, but long gray sunless days quietly steal vitality and drain the life from hair. A few months ago, Nancy, a 62-year-old woman living in the icy Midwest, shared her sad experience. After shoveling snow in the biting cold, she stepped inside with frozen hands and a weary body. While sipping hot cocoa to warm up, she blow-dried her hair in the bathroom. The moment she saw a larger than usual clump of hair tangled in the comb, shock hit her. Have you ever felt unusually tired, with always cold hands and feet, or nails suddenly becoming brittle? It's not necessarily due to age, but a cry for help when the body lacks iron, vitamin D, or has thyroid issues. At our women's age, this deficiency is very common. If fatigue persists, please consult a doctor. When essential mineral reserves drop, your beloved hair is forced into hibernation, causing rapid shedding. But don't worry, because this condition is fully recoverable. Did you know that by replenishing the right missing treasures, thin hair will quickly brighten and thicken again? However, abundant internal nutrition is just the foundation of the house. If the follicle structure is being gradually shrunk by hormonal storms, is a good base enough to keep the hair standing strong? Definitely not. We'll need real guardians, stronger medical shields. Let's find out together. The bright neon lights along the pharmacy aisles sometimes dazzle us. Tons of shiny boxes promise miracles, but real science is rarely that noisy. A few days ago, I ran into Diane, 57, standing awkwardly at the hair care counter in the CVS chain. Looking at rows of products labeled with miraculous hair growth claims, she sighed in confusion. She confided feeling incredibly alone, swimming in a sea of murky information, plus fear of the side effect warnings densely printed on the boxes. I understand that feeling. The solid nutrition we just mentioned is the foundation, but if your scalp is under hormonal storm attacks, you'll need real medical shields. Actually, to protect women's follicles, we have very reliable companions proven by science. First is Minoxidil, a familiar name on over-the-counter shelves. It works like an irrigation system, gently widening tiny blood vessels under the scalp, bringing more oxygen and nutrients to wake sleeping follicles and extend growth time. And if the hormonal culprit is too strong, doctors sometimes use spironolactone, a blood pressure medication with amazing ability to create a solid shield, blocking DHT from shrinking women's follicles. Using blood pressure meds to save hair sounds strange, right? But the truth is, when we understand the body correctly, safe solutions always exist to bring youth back as long as you consult a doctor. Oral and topical meds both work, but have you wondered if there's other advanced technology to help? Once you've chosen your pharmacy companion, let's explore how modern therapy brings miracles right to your living room. Self-care at this age sometimes looks like a sci-fi movie. You sit there wearing a glowing red helmet and hoping wonders will bloom on your crown. A few evenings ago, my 65-year-old friend Helen shared an incredibly cute story. She was peacefully knitting a winter scarf, enjoying the familiar Jeopardy quiz show with her dotted red laser helmet on her head. Suddenly, hearing the thundering footsteps of her grandchildren running down the stairs, Helen frantically yanked off the helmet and hid it away, afraid the kids would tease her as an alien. Though humorous, that sci-fi helmet is actually red light therapy, delivering amazing energy to wake each follicle cell deep inside. Combined with that technology, did you know 2% ketoconazole shampoo not only cleans dandruff, but acts as a guardian protecting the scalp from hormonal impacts? These two advanced solutions can be done right on your living room sofa. Have you seen how easy and hopeful at-home hair care has become? If you like, comment, great hair. And if the video was even a little helpful, please like it. We women always quietly strive to preserve our hair, but have you noticed your life partner inadvertently losing their youth? Hair loss in men not only affects appearance, but strongly impacts spirit. Is there a habit accelerating shedding? We've talked a lot about us ladies, so did you know that in the family, gentlemen sometimes unknowingly speed up their own hair loss without realizing anything about it? Helen's embarrassed smile when hastily hiding her hair care helmet must seem so endearing and relatable, right? But as night falls and the house returns to its familiar quiet, love often comes with silent observation. Have you noticed any changes in the hair of the man who shares your morning coffee? That moment reminds me of Patricia's story, 59. Her husband Tom just turned 61 and decided to use testosterone replacement therapy, a trending practice among middle-aged men in America. Tom just wanted to regain his youthful stamina to confidently swing clubs on weekend golf outings with friends or simply maintain an energetic appearance at backyard BBQ parties. Patricia noticed her husband was more muscular, but the hair on his crown was thinning incredibly fast. She held a gentle worry, unsure how to broach it with him fully. Actually, this effort to maintain physique sometimes brings unexpected changes to hair. When men supplement external testosterone, this hormone converts strongly into DHT in the body. As we've confided before, DHT is the direct factor thinning follicles. Not only that, this sudden hormonal surge can make men's scalps more imbalanced, leading to sensitive flaking or seborrheic dermatitis. But does gentlemen's effort to hold on to vigor have to trade off hair vitality? The good news is absolutely not, as we always have scientific, gentle paths to protect hair for the whole family. Understanding our bodies and empathizing with loved ones, all care efforts ultimately nurture happiness. In the end, whether it's your hair or your partner's, it all leads us to the same wonderful destination. So next step, what do we need to do to shed worries and embrace full inner peace? I'm Alan, and I want to invite you to close your eyes for a second. Imagine the summer afternoon breeze gently brushing your ear, and you no longer hold your hair tightly for fear of exposing the scalp. That's exactly Mary's feeling, my 64-year-old neighbor. Just this past 4th of July, she wore a floral sundress, confidently tied her carefully cared-for hair into a bun, accented with shimmering silver strands, and radiantly stepped out to the garden picnic. Holding a cool glass of lemon iced tea, Mary filled her lungs with free air, laughed crisply with friends, and felt more self-love than ever. That peace and radiance can fully be yours. Age 50 and beyond is when our beauty needs nurturing from understanding. By combining balanced nutrition, releasing inner stress, and patiently applying medical follicle protection therapies, you're step-by-step calling back your hair's vitality. Of course, since each body is a unique ecosystem, always consult healthcare experts for the most suitable tests and regimens. The journey to preserve hair's youth is never easy, but you are absolutely not alone. Thank you so much for sitting down to drink this coffee and accompanying me to the very end. If today's conversation brought you hope, please hit subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue journeying together. And if possible, share this video with sisters quietly carrying similar sentiments. Always love yourself, keep hope strong, and see you in the next warm conversations.